All right.
I'm listening, I swear.
Okay, welcome everyone to our Forward webinar. Today we're going to be talking about customer loyalty, and I'm really lucky to have Megan and Bethany here. They actually live in the same town as me. We live in a pretty small town, but we're all here, we're all rocking it, and it's great. And every once in a while, I'll run into people, and they'll say, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, where'd you get your LuLaRoe?" And they'll either say that they got it from Megan, and they'll gush on and on about Megan's so awesome. I love Megan, blah blah blah. And the same for Bethany, like, "Oh, I got it from Bethany, and she's great. So I'm only here with you just for my unicorn, but then I'm going back to my girls." So, so I just wanted them to tell us all about how they work their in person and their online, and why is it that everyone loves you guys so much? So, Megan, you want to start?
Okay. And I'm going to apologize in advance in case any of my children make noise in the background.
Hi.
Like that one. So I've been, I started under Thea in really officially August of last year, and it was definitely a slow start for me. I work full time, so it's hard for me to, be able to respond immediately to everybody. But once I kind of really hit my upswing, it just became all a matter of making people happy for me. And people would say, "Hey, I want to have an online party. I saw something in your inventory. Would you be willing to hold it for me as one of my party rewards?" And I'd say yes, because for me, and this may not be everybody's cup of tea, but for me, that makes me feel good. I want somebody to be happy. Oh my gosh, I apologize for my son. He's 12. Stop. And even though my children don't appreciate the fact that I want to make people happy, my customers do. So I think that I'm going to have to smack him in the head if he does it again. I'm going to pretty much tell you what feels good to me, and then I would encourage people to decide what feels good to you, because what works for me may not feel right to you. Like, some people would not be willing to hold something. Some people would not be willing to exchange something 3 times. But I have a really hard time saying no, because I want to see people smile. I want to see people happy. And I think that's what they like about how I interact with them. Simon, you're not helping. I'm sorry. Clearly, my children don't understand how to be quiet when they're supposed to.
What?
I have people that I have done multiple online parties for, multiple in-home parties for. They want me to come back. We try to space it out every few months, obviously, but I think they just like that I try to be interactive, whether in-home or online, but not overbearing. I, pretty much just am there to answer questions. I, try to encourage people to try stuff on when if I'm at a pop-up. And a lot of times people are, hesitant, and I don't push. So I'm not going to make them do something they're uncomfortable with, even though we certainly want to see people try different things on. But I'm also very honest, and I'm like, "No, not a good color for you. Let's try this," or, what have you. And they do appreciate that. I don't want somebody buying something and then they get home and they're like, "Oh my gosh, why did I buy this?" And then they regret it and feel like they got pushed into something. So I've had very few exchanges from in-home parties. Online, I think, is to be more expected, because if they haven't tried a particular style before, I'm always happy to exchange, because they need to get a fit that works, or, make sure that they understand how the sizes run, etc. So the other thing that I tended to do a lot of before the new damages policy came out was I would cover shipping for something that was damaged to send back to me. I would reimburse them. And I think that was also something that was much appreciated. Now the policy is a little bit different. We don't have to accept the samples, the items back. Some people might still be asking for them, but typically I just tell people to keep it and wear it around the house. If they don't want to go out for the day and it's something that's got a little stain, or it's got a little mark, or even a little hole, I say just wear it as your cleaning clothes or something like that, or your exercise clothes, and that way they can still have it, and then I'm happy to send them something new. So I just guess for me, I like to go out of my way a little bit to provide as excellent customer service as I can. And I think that's what keeps people wanting to come back and to buy from me. And because they know that they're going to get that little bit of extra something. I don't package my stuff pretty. I have gift wrap things for people when I know it's a present for, a nephew or not nephew, a niece. Usually, I don't think I've had a nephew yet, a niece, a granddaughter, or what have you. If they say, oh, it's for my, such and such's birthday, I will offer to wrap it. Granted, I'm not the world's best gift wrapper, but I'll wrap it in shoe paper. I'll throw a little, thing of candy in or something like that. But I don't have the time to do that on a regular basis. I do write little handwritten notes for my hostesses when I'm shipping their items out. If it's an online party, just to make sure that they know that I'm, paying attention to them a little bit more than everybody else. But I think that people just like dealing with me because I do try to respond quickly as I can. I do have the settings on my phone such that anytime I get an email to my LuLaRoe account, I see it pop up so that I know that it's somebody who's contacting me regarding something related to the business. Same thing for my notifications in my group. I make sure that those pop up on my phone. So while I'm at work, I can easily know that somebody's looking for me. Same with my messages, etc. So I try to be accessible even though I do work. I know that's not easy for everybody if they work too, but it's just one of those little things that makes me feel good to know that I have, them on my mind and I have their, they're on my radar. I can be as accessible as possible. So I think that's about it for me in a nutshell. And I'll turn it over to Bethany, who is my downline. And I think we make a pretty good team. And like Thea said, all in one town, 3 consultants, and there's plenty more nearby, but people still like to come back to us and feel really comfortable with us.
Cool. Thank you. Hey, Bethany.
Well, I signed on under Megan because she's awesome. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to sign on under her is because of her commitment to her customers, which makes a big difference. And I think it makes you feel like a more valued individual. So one of the reasons that I was drawn to her was because that's how I wanted to run my own business, to show people that they're not just a paycheck, they're a person, and that is important, that without them, you aren't going to really have a successful business. So a little bit of background, I only work 30 hours a week, so only 3 days a week, and I have 2 small kids. So my time is limited, and so I found, some tricks that work to help keep the business going in spite of the fact that, life is very busy. But I found that with anything in life and with any kind of relationship in life, there's a couple of major points that need to be met in order to be successful at maintaining that relationship. And so I do consider these, my relationship with these customers a relationship. It's not a relationship in the sense of a marriage or something like that, but it's people, and I do a lot of sales in Facebook. So even though I'm not face to face with these folks, I try to invest in them and learn about them and that kind of stuff. So, but one of the first things I think as far as, creating that customer loyalty that's important to maintain your business and to make your business more predictable is to be really committed to the business. So that means sometimes sacrifice. That sometimes means staying up late and getting orders out so that your customers are getting them quickly. Sorry, it says my internet connection's not stable, so you're probably hearing gurgling or something.
I can still hear you.
Okay. And then also, making promises that you can keep and keeping the promises that you make. So I am a big fan of ambiguity for that reason, because I don't like to overcommit myself and get myself into trouble. Which is why I don't have a weekly sale, because my life is, I'm just not organized enough. But I do think that when you tell people that you're going to do something, following through means something to your customer, because if they expect it and you let them down, that's a disappointment that translates into, I'm not really interested in doing business with this person because her word is not her word, or his word is not his word, that kind of thing. I also think it's really important, a key factor in maintaining any kind of relationship, we all know, is communication. So I think if you are in constant communication with the people that are purchasing from you, that makes them feel like you value them as an individual. And you do. I mean, if you care enough to take 5 minutes out of your lunch break or whatever, in order to check your messages and make sure that you're answering questions, that is caring about your customer, that is caring about what they have to say. So I try to be in constant communication with my customers. I have to say it's hard when I'm home with the kids on the days that I'm off and with my kids, but I always try and steal like a minute in the bathroom or something like that to just get some things answered. The other big thing about communication is I like to be transparent with my Facebook group. I like to be transparent with all of the customers that I take care of, or that I take care of. I almost said patients. Customers that I work with. I don't even know what you say, that I serve. I don't know. But I like to be in constant communication, and I like to be transparent with them. So if something is going on in my life, say my kids are sick, or whatever, I'm going out to celebrate something, I like to let them know that I've been missing in action because of that, or that I'm not going to be around over the weekend because of whatever, or whatever the circumstances are. And I think that helps increase your predictability and maybe helps other people see you as a real human being and relate to that a little bit. I don't know, people like predictability, and they like consistency. So I just try to be transparent and honest with people. I think the more real that you are and the more vulnerable you allow yourself to be with people, the more they identify with you, and the more that they're willing to, connect with you, because people are looking to engage, and particularly in social media. I mean, social media exists because people are looking to engage. We live in a world that's busy, and we're not connected with one another, so we're still looking for that. And I think if you can do that through this company, it really helps. It helps your business, and it helps the people that you're serving. It helps them to know that there's somebody out there who hasn't even met them that cares about them. Another thing that I think is really important about communication and being transparent, or another thing that I want to highlight, is to not let negativity leak out. So being transparent does not mean being negative. If Audrey is not working, or something has gone awry at LuLaRoe, leggings are out of stock, whatever, people don't care that you're frustrated. They care that they're frustrated. So sort of acknowledging that, and then trying to, this is like a pediatric trick, trying to use distraction as a method. So let's have a giveaway, everybody. I know it's so terrible that Audrey hasn't worked for the last week and you can't get your stuff. Something like that, something to, keep things upbeat and fun, and not be negative, because people are just not interested in your being down in the dumps about anything. They want to come to, people are drawn to LuLaRoe because it's bright and colorful and happy, and they want to continue to see that in dealing with you. So keep it positive. And then I've talked a lot about, too, caring about your customer as an individual. That is probably the most important thing that you can do to maintain your customers. Again, this is a reason that I signed on under Megan, was because she cared about me. I was that customer who was like, could you hold that pair of leggings until next month when I can actually afford $20? And Megan was like, sure, that's fine. Now I look at her behavior as somewhat ridiculous, that she would do something like that. Ridiculous in a wonderful way, but ridiculous. And I'm definitely not as good customer service wise as Megan is. There's no way around it. And as probably Thea is, and the rest of the world. But I I do have to say, engaging your customer is really important. Knowing them as a person is really important. It all relates back to people are trying to connect. And they're trying to connect with other people who are like-minded. And if you care about them, they're likely to care back about you and about your business and about your why and be interested in what you're doing with LuLaRoe. We might sell clothes, but we all have a story, and people are interested to know that, but they also are only interested to know that if you're interested to know theirs. So I think that that's really helpful to just engage people and really be invested in them. And then also, the last big thing I think is helpful is to be compassionate. I struggle with this, and I am a nurse, and I should be ashamed that I struggle with this. But I work with people who have cancer, so it's very easy to be compassionate. I think it is hard to get customers who have lots of problems with the product or who don't like the fit or whatever, or who can't pay for a week because their aunt in Philadelphia took their credit card and flushed it down the toilet or whatever. But I think it's important to be flexible and compassionate and be kind, in your interactions with them. So to just listen to them, hear them out, and be compassionate and understanding and flexible within reason, do what you feel comfortable doing. So if you don't feel comfortable holding something for 2 months like Megan, then don't. But, be kind and try and work out a solution with them, even if they annoy the crap out of you. It does happen. Even though we're wonderful, it does happen. But that's pretty much how I feel like it works, is that you just have, I think if you care about people and if you're committed to your business, it all works out.
That's great. That's really, you guys, so many things that are really important and things that are very important for LuLaRoe and just in life in general, just, to care about people, and that when you care, good things will happen if everyone cares about each other. And that is, that's just life. I mean, not just LuLaRoe, this life. I had like a whole bunch of points. I was like, oh, that's really good. I should have been writing it down. I like how you both talked about being transparent, about, letting people know who you are. I think that's fairly important. I mean, we're part of a social company. I mean, yeah, we're selling clothes, but it's not just clothes when you do a pop-up. It's like a whole community coming together, people coming to someone's house, everyone's together, or you're on Facebook, which Facebook is basically just like, a giant living room, right? Everyone's just coming together. And I think it's really important to let people know that you care about them and that you won't let them walk out with something that looks absolutely awful on them. I think that's really important. And people come back. I mean, I've had a customer who wanted an Amelia so bad. She's like, I just want this Amelia, And she put it on. She came out of the room, and then you could just tell, like, she was looking in the mirror, like, trying to love it. And like, I don't really think that's for you. Why don't you try a Nicole? And she came out in the Nicole and like this huge smile. And she's like, oh, I love it. And like, this is what you need. You don't need that Amelia. I think you need a Nicole. And it didn't just help her. And she's been like my biggest fan, like everyone, oh, go see Thea, she'll tell you what looks good, blah, blah, blah. But everyone in the room just felt more comfortable. Like, she's not going to just let me go out of here wearing something that's god awful for me, but like something that looks good. So everyone left feeling good. And I think that's something that you guys basically said, just be nice and let people, let people know you. Let me see if I have any questions, because I don't know, Jessica, I think Jessica's still out there. Jessica's doing a pop-up right now, so she might not be able to ask a question.
I'm here. I don't have any questions, though.
Oh, okay. Jessica's good at customer service, too, so. Let's see. For someone starting out, what do you do? I'm coming up with something. Okay, so say you have a customer, and she's like, I can't even come up with a good example. All right, so I already used the don't let someone walk out in something that looks terrible for them. if you're not smiling when they're leaving, that's not a good thing. So say you have someone who is asking you questions online. You have like this crazy party going on, and this person just wants to know, how does these Nicole's fit? Like, this is my measurements. What can you do for me? Like, what would you tell them?
I like that we have the new size charts that show the basic size suggestions, although some people still get a little confused. What I often will do is say, if you see something that you really like, that you think might work, mark it as sold, and then we can certainly, and then, we can regroup when things are a little bit quieter, and I will be happy to answer some more questions specifically, because that way they won't lose out on something. And often I'll say, well, what size do you normally wear? This, that, or the other. And one thing's, when I get a lull in the action, I've even gone and measured stuff for people so that I can, have a measuring tape nearby, one of those cloth ones, and I'll measure from armpit to armpit, from neckline to seam, where if it's a dress, for instance, and to just give people an idea of what that will be, so that they can try to figure out for themselves. And they might be measuring their own clothes or their own bodies, to help them figure out what might work. But I always make sure I circle back with somebody. I don't want them to lose out on a piece, but I will definitely get back to them and say, just message me your questions, and then when I'm able to, I will definitely answer them, but comment on anything you're interested in, so that you can always pass it later. That way you won't lose it. And I think people appreciate that, they understand you're busy, but that you're not going to just forget about them.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I second what Megan said. I think I try to answer questions in real time. So, I don't do a lot of events, which I think is helpful. I just post in my group. So that saves me some of the I'm just trying to get albums up, that kind of thing. I can sort of get albums up in a very, very long period of time, which is what it usually happens to be. But I just try and answer questions and read through my notifications pretty often, and get back to people and be responsive. I haven't had to measure. Actually, maybe I have had to measure some stuff. I don't know. Maybe I have. I don't know. But I try to, going above and beyond, and doing something like that is not something that would be beyond me. Or like if people are like, the color thing. So if people have questions about the colors, like what's the background color? I actually, this is a great trick that I use. When I save my pictures, I try and describe the background color. Mm-hmm. So if it's something that I might not know just by looking at it, I try to save myself the time of having to go downstairs and check things like that. Or I also try to take close-up pictures of the fabrics that are kind of intricate when I am going to actually post the stuff. I have that on hand, so if people want to see a close-up of the fabric, I don't actually have to leave my seat. I really don't like to move from my chair ever if I don't have to, so that's where all of this comes from.
I do some of that too, because I don't want to get up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm just going to do this now. I'm taking pictures. It's done.
So there's a pro tip. Do you feel that you have to do rewards cards or anything to keep customers?
Me personally, no. I actually am. I think I'm like the cheapest LuLaRoe consultant in the world, because when you guys were talking free shipping, I was like, oh heck no, I'm not doing that. I was like, I need my profits. This is going to daycare costs. But so I don't do any loyalty cards or anything like that, but I definitely like the golden ticket giveaway. I try to be generous with that kind of stuff. I mean, you have, and if you think of it in terms of advertising, in any business, you have to put money towards advertising costs. So if you're putting like $50 every once in a while towards an advertising cost or whatever, I think that makes people happy. I think something like a golden ticket is fun, or a giveaway or something like that. A giveaway which can cost you $10, but if it's a unicorn pair of leggings or something like that, it's going to get people's attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have on my business card, I do have the buy 10 get one free. It actually says buy 10, get a pair of leggings free. But I don't, I always throw my business card in with my, exchange policy card, but I don't keep track of it. So if somebody comes to me and says, I think I'm about to hit, 10 items with you, I'll say, okay. And, I know I can go back and check in the receipts. So it's not like I'm going to get myself taken advantage of. But for the most part, I know my customers fairly well that are really regular. I know there's one lady who only buys from me. And which is fine. I mean, I haven't a problem if she went and shopped with somebody else, but I think I'm the only person that she shops with, which is fine. And so, she said, yeah, I think so. And she'll list them off and I'll say, oh yeah, that sounds right. Cause for certain people, I just remember what they bought. I don't know why. I just remember, most of what it is, not everything. And so I will go ahead and do the free leggings or a free whatever. I mean, I'm fine with doing a buy 10, get anything free for the most part. And so as long as somebody, just says, hey, by the way, I'll say, okay, but I don't mark the cards anymore. And I don't, have to worry about keeping track because most folks don't ask for it. Only some people actually notice it on the bottom of my business card. So.
So, do you all have anything else you want to share? I think this has been really great. There's a lot of good tips here.
I have one thing I want to say in regards to what you were saying. I love to talk. Can you tell? I'm so Italian. It's like all I do. You mentioned, Thea, about the LuLaRoe being a social company, and we were talking about caring about people and how that really seeps into your business. I think that is. I honestly think that the way to make your business, above and beyond everything else, the way to make your business successful is exactly that, is to be social and to engage and to be caring. LuLaRoe started off as somebody making skirts out of her home, and prior to that, selling little girls' dresses at parties at her house. So if you think of where that company started and where they are today and where they're heading, the trajectory of where they're heading, that's pretty impressive that just, that kind of social atmosphere has made something so big. So just to get back to what you were saying.
And my other thing is it's really important that people know you and know who you are genuinely. You don't need to be you don't need to be Thea, you don't need to be Megan or Bethany. You need to be you and let people know who you are. And I think that draws people to you as well. Like if you're a genuine person and you really care about someone, they're going to come back. Sure, some people look for a maxi skirt that's got, I don't know, cows jumping over a moon or something, but they will come back to you because you're their person. So I think that's important to always be yourself. Don't be anyone else. Anything else? Any other thoughts? All right, I think this is really great. Thanks so much. I'm going to turn off the recording. Bye.
Bye.